Hey, this is Connor Klein. I'm going to be showing you my Scag Zero turns today. Okay, so first we have a Scag Freedom Pro 61 inch, a Scag Cheetah 2017 model, 61 inch velocity deck, and then a 2019 Scag Turf Tiger 2. So I guess I will start with the decks. This one, it says it's a commercial grade deck. It's proven itself pretty stout, but I will say I think these velocity decks have a higher blade tip speed, so they do cut better. But this mower also goes a little slower. It cuts okay, but the velocities do cut better. This is more of your residential model. To raise and lower the deck, you've got your foot pedal here, a little lever there, and you know that's how it is. It goes up to 5 inches. On the Scag Cheetah velocity deck. Now the difference between this one and this one I'm about to show you. This one has 2 belts, and the belt runs straight back to the engine. It's got this belt here, goes back to the engine and to this pulley and gets the right side, and then it has another belt here that goes and runs the left side of the deck, or your left blade. You also, for cleaning and blowing stuff out, this one you can't even move the cover to get down there to sharpen the blades. But to take the blades off, it's just got a bolt on the bottom, so you don't even need to get a wrench or anything up here. But it is hard to clean all this stuff out on this deck. Whereas this one, you've got to get a wrench up here, and then your impact on bottom. It's got a small access port here for the middle blade. It just feels like it's got a lot of stuff up here, and the tanks cover part of the deck, so it's kind of hard to blow off the deck. Whereas this one's a lot more open. You ain't got the tank in the way, and then you've got this awesome access port here, which is fantastic. It's also only got 1 belt instead of 2. It's got 1 belt for everything. And as you can see in here, let's see, this one is drive shaft driven. It doesn't go all the way back to the motor, because the motor on this one is a vertical shaft. Not vertical, horizontal. The other one's a vertical. So you've got that, and then you've got that drive shaft. It goes back there. So this deck, you raise it here, and it only goes to 5 inches, whereas on the Turf Tiger 2, it'll go all the way up to 6 inches. Is right there. They operate about the same. But having the added deck height, being able to raise it higher, is nice for getting on and off your trailer. Because on some trailers, I've had it to where, you know, like the blade in the back will sometimes catch when you're going over it, depending how you hit it. Whereas on this one, I don't have that problem at all. The next thing we're going to talk about is fuel capacity. This one has 1 single tank on the side, holds I think 8 gallons. On hills, you can pick which side you want to go, because if you get your weight on the top side, you'll stick to the hill better. This one has 2 8 gallons on each side, which is cool. You can mow like 2 days without filling up, and then you just change it right there, switch tanks. But it doesn't keep the mower balanced. So like if my one side's out of fuel and I'm trying to mow a hill, I'll try and go a certain direction so the weight's on the one side. Whereas on this one, I think it holds, don't quote me on this, but I think it holds like 9 or 10 gallons. It may only hold 8, I'm not sure, I don't remember. But the tank's right under the seat, and it keeps the weight right in the center, so that's nice. But it does hold less than the Cheetah. So the next thing we'll talk about is the suspension seats. So this one It's actually, I mean, pretty comfy ride. It's not bad, but I will say why it's bumpier than, say, the Turf Tiger is this machine has a lot smaller tires. These front ones are real narrow. There's my foot for comparison to, like, say, the Cheetah. I mean, it's like, I don't know, they're almost like twice the width, which is, it makes a huge difference. Then we've got the Cheetah, which has a different design altogether. You've got this platform that kind of moves back and forth. It's all on a shock. You can adjust it, but let's see. All right, so you've got a shock right there that you ride on, and this seat is solid mounted to that. I will say, I mean, it rides okay, but the Turf Tigers rides way better. That's a very comfy seat. The seat on the Cheetah, on the older model, is much cooler because this one's black. That one gets kind of hot in the sun, but I mean, this is a very smooth riding machine. Next we'll talk about the hydraulics. This machine has, I think, like it'll go 8 miles per hour, whereas the Cheetah, it's really cool because it'll go 12 miles per hour in low and up to 16 miles per hour in high. You don't really want to mow in high. It gets pretty squirrely, but you can, if you got a yard down the street in a subdivision, you can just throw it high, and I mean, you'll really do the boot scoot and boogie on your way there. The Turf Tiger, it'll go 12 miles per hour and it does not have a high, but I mean, you don't really use high that often. It's nice that you got it, but it's definitely not a deal breaker. It goes plenty fast still. Just, you know, you might shave like 15 seconds off getting to a lawn down the street in your neighborhood. But talk about engines. This one has a horizontal shaft, 35 horsepower Briggs. I know you can get the 37 fuel injected as well. I chose the carburetor because I can work on a carburetor. This one you can get a 35 horse on this. The model I have has a 27 horse Kawasaki, which it's really not bad. It's got plenty of power. If you're going up a steep hill, I mean, you could use a little more power, but I mean, all in all, it has no problem getting the job done. And then this, I believe it's a 24 horse, and I mean, it has plenty of power because it goes slower and the machine is altogether lighter, so plenty of power there, never bogs down. So we'll talk about the hydrostatic transmissions. Basically, on this model, you've got to, it's been a while since I've been under here. Oh yeah, so you take these covers off and there's a spin-on filter, and then I'm assuming there's a drain plug somewhere. It's been a while since I changed it, but it's not too bad. The spin-on filters are great. And this also, the parking brake on it, it has discs back here, and you push that foot pedal and pull this handle, and that's how you do that, and it works good. Then on the Cheetah really sucks to change out the transaxle fluid. You have to actually, there's a cover right there, you've got to take that out, and then there's a filter in there that you've got to change out. And then I believe there are 2 different ports or bolts that you have to take out to drain all the fluid, and there's one on each side. The parking brake also on the Cheetah is internal, and I mean, it ain't going nowhere when it's in park, but if your linkages and stuff get out of adjustment, Mine actually went out and broke inside the transaxle, and I had to have, I mean, they warrantied it and I got a new one for free, but that was not fun. So I mean, I had to have my mower in the shop for a little while. But I mean, on the newer models, they're supposed to have replaced some stuff and kind of redesigned that a little bit, so it should be better. Actually, on the Cheetah 2, they have the same push down a brake lever and pull that, whereas on here, you know, do that. Works fine, and I haven't had any issues with it since then. So I don't know, and some people don't have any issues with it at all, but I do prefer this method. You can also do it hands-free. You can push that down while you're on a trailer on a hill, and then, you know, pull your handles in, and then you can pull your parking brake on. Whereas on that one, you've got to, I don't know, you got to do it real fast, you know, keeping your handles in so you don't move, and then you've got to like pull the parking brake up, and when you pull the parking brake up, it tries to kill itself. So the other thing I was going to talk about, so on there it's pretty simple, you know, the belt goes from the motor to the deck. But on the Turf Tiger, since it's a horizontal engine, you've got another, let's see, you've got another 2 belts in here, but they all look very easy to get to, and I doubt I'll have to replace these very often, because I mean, they shouldn't, you know, be around all the grass, and they should stay pretty dry back here, I would imagine. And then from that pulley, you have, it goes, switches to a drive shaft, which then goes to that little box down there, and you are supposed to change the oil in that box. I don't remember how often. It's not very often, and it's supposed to be pretty easy to do, but I have not had to do that yet. On the hydraulics on this one, you have, which this is very nice, you've got a spin-on filter. See, yeah, you've just got a spin-on filter, and then I would assume there is probably a drain plug on each of the motors to let all the fluid out of them, but much easier than the Scag Cheetahs. So one other side note, these are pretty easy to change the oil on. You've got your little hose here. There's supposed to be a cap on it, but you screw it in, it's closed, screw it out, oil come out. On here though, you've got your filter in the way, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little, let's see if I get the camera any closer. Let's see. Alright, so yeah, you should be able to see it. There's a little bolt right there. If you loosen that, the oil will drain out through the bottom. Well, that's real hard to get to, especially if the oil filter's here in the way. So I mean, what people can do to make that a lot easier, and what the Scag guy said to do, I don't know why they haven't done it themselves. I think it's kind of dumb, but I'm gonna get a relocator kit for that, which is basically, it'll be a hose that screws on there, and then I run the hose, say, I could probably just run the hose underneath this and over here, just under it over here, and then have the same type that was on the Cheetah, to where if I just unscrew it and set it down here, it'll drain. So that's what I plan on doing there, because that really sucks to get to. The only other real difference, or thing I've had an issue with, is, so these bars they're just a touch higher than the Cheetahs, and I mean, the Freedom you can't fold down, which kind of sucks. I mean, you'll take out branches with it, but I don't use that mower as much as I do the other ones. That's kind of like a backup mower right now. But so on the Turf Tiger, it's got a big ass on it, and that one doesn't. So this one, going through ditches and stuff, sometimes I'll get hung up going through a ditch and have to get off and move the front back and forth and try and get it off so the wheels will touch the ground again. Which, I mean, if you know about it, not a huge deal. You can just drive to avoid it, but it does happen. And the Cheetahs, it doesn't come out quite as far and is a little bit higher, so I don't have the same problem. Let me see if I can get like a side-to-side view. So there's that on the Turf Tiger, whereas on the Cheetah, you know, it's got that angle there, so helps a lot. That's just a platform I made for my leaf bagger. And then this one, I don't know, I don't really run this mower much, but I don't think it catches very often. The rear tire size on this one, it's smaller. This one's a bit bigger than that one, but the Turf Tiger 2 is a lot bigger than both of those. So if you have any other questions, just let me know. Side thing, this is made by Engine Air, and it's got a little fan in it, and when it's sucking in air, the fan spins around, and like if there's a big particle that shoots up through there, that fan will kick it out here and shoot it out. So it keeps your filters a lot cleaner and saves you money in the long run. These deck chutes, they're made by Ballard. They're okay. They work pretty good. You can sit there and you're able to reach them. You got to kind of reach out. I did find another model at the GIE Expo where it's foot pedal operated, and I think if I have to get another one, I'm probably going to do that. But this works fine. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe and like my video now.